Levi's aunt, and I actually live in Utah, but I came to Texas for a few days to visit Levi and his family. And Levi's mom is my sister. And I'm going to school to be a librarian, and one of the classes I'm taking this semester is how to do book talks. And so your teacher was kind enough to let me come and practice, do some book talks for you, and I have to turn in my assignment, so that's why I'm being videotaped. So, also, if you don't mind, if you have any questions about the books I talk about, will you just save them till the end? Then we can stop videotaping, and then I can answer any of your questions, okay? All right, so I'm going to tell you about 8 different books. I'm going to talk about them. My first book is Ali Finkel's Rules for Girls, Moving Day by Meg Cabot. Ali Finkel is at war. She is at war about moving. She lives in a great house. Her best friend lives down the street. She has the best teacher at school. And school has already started. And isn't it against the rules to move after school has started? Ali is all about the rules. In fact, she loves science and math because of the rules. Ali also makes up her own rules. She makes up so many that she has to write them down in her notebook called Ali Finkel's Rules for Girls. Some of the rules are rules people told her, like what goes up must come down. Or treat your friends the way you would like to be treated. Ali also likes to make up her own rules, like never eat anything red. Or if someone is yelling from excitement, the polite thing to do is yell back. Or never put a cat in a suitcase. The most important rule, though, is never let your family move into a haunted house. And that rule is the reason why Ali is at war. But is this a war she has any chance of winning? And what will she do if she loses? To find out, read Ali Finkel's Rules for Girls by Meg Cabot. The Roar. Oh, thank you for clapping. I have more, though. This one is called The Roar by Emma Clayton. Everyone on Earth lived inside the wall. It's 50 feet high, built of cement, topped with 3 rows of electrified razor wire. The wall goes around the top 1/3 of the Earth, and all of the people that live on Earth live inside the wall. The whole population is jammed inside. The war was built during the animal plague. The animal plague was when all the animals on Earth went crazy and started attacking and killing humans. So they built the wall so that everyone could be safe from the animals. But with only 1/3 of the space, the human population is jammed in on top of each other. And many people live in tiny 15-foot square fold-up apartments. And babies were forbidden to be born for 30 years. But Micah and Ellie are part of the first generation of children born. But Micah and Ellie never got along. They always fought about everything. However, they were twins, and so they were connected at a level that was much deeper than who got the top bunk. But that's why Micah was so distraught when Ellie disappeared. And the police said that she'd fallen off a walkway and drowned. But Micah didn't believe them. He knew she was alive, far away, but she was alive and no one was looking for her. Well, far away, Ellie was alive, and she had been kidnapped. She was determined to get away from Mal Gorman, who had kidnapped her a year ago, who was training her to be a warrior. But Ellie was smart, and she learned quickly, and what she learned helped her to be able to escape. But when Gorman found out, he was furious because Ellie knew the secret. And so she was a ticking time bomb, and she could ruin all of Gorman's plans. Perhaps she could even reveal the secret of what was really behind the wall. If you want to find out, read The Roar by Emma Clayton. Okay, my next book is called The Candy Bomber, and it's the story of the Berlin's Airlift's Chocolate Pilot, and it's by Michael Tunnell. And this one is nonfiction, but it reads very pleasantly. I quite enjoyed it. So, it is Berlin, Germany, in 1948. It's just after World War II has ended. The country of Germany has been divided up into 4 pieces between the United States, Britain, France, and Russia. But everybody wants to be involved in Berlin, which is the capital. However, Berlin is in the middle of Russia's part, and Russia doesn't want to share. So Russia does not allow any water or land travel into Berlin. They want to starve the people of Berlin so that they will all agree to become Russians. So the only way into Berlin is by airplane. But around this time, winter is coming, and the Berlin people are really worried because they're hungry, they're cold, and they have no way to get any supplies. So Britain and the U.S. decide that they're going to airlift everything that the Berlin people need. So the cargo planes drop out of the sky every few minutes into Berlin, 24 hours a day. But what about the children of Berlin? The country of Germany has been at war for years now. So food has been hard to find, and sweets and candy impossible. You simply can't find them. So one American pilot named Lieutenant Halverson wants to provide more for the children. What can he do? Can he get any food or any candy or sweets to the children? To find out about Lieutenant Halverson's plan, read The Candy Bomber by Michael Tunnell. Okay, Al Capone Does My Shirts by Jennifer Choldenko. Things just aren't going Moose Flanagan's way. He has to leave his friends and his winning baseball team behind. He never gets to see his dad because his dad's always working, and his mom is acting just plain weird. Moose has a sister named Natalie, and Moose's mom tries to have everybody believe that Natalie is 10, but she's really 15 going on 16. Natalie has autism, and so sometimes she acts a little strange or a little different, which is hard for Moose and sometimes gets him in trouble, especially now that he's watching her a lot. So what's a 12-year-old guy to do? It's not really that unusual to have to move with your family, but it is unusual if you have to move to the Rock. Devil's Island, Alcatraz. It's 1935, and Moose's dad is a prison guard on Alcatraz. Moose is not too sure what he thinks about Alcatraz. It's a 12-acre rock covered with cement, topped with bird poop, surrounded by water. And trouble is never very far away. There are other kids that live on the island with their families, and they're all pretty nice, except for Piper. She's the warden's daughter, and yeah, she's cute, but she is bad news. Piper always has a scheme going. She lies to her dad, she takes her classmates to the cleaners, and she always wants to involve Moose. But let's not even talk about the prisoners. Alcatraz gets the worst of the worst. They get the prisoners that none of the other prisons wants. In fact, they have a very notorious gangster there called Al Capone. When the Flanagan family has a crisis and they don't have anywhere to turn, will Moose break the most important rule, which is never contact a convict? Would Moose dare to ask the most famous prisoner of all, Al Capone, for help? To find out, you can read Al Capone Does My Shirts by Jennifer Choldenko. The next book, yay, is called Smile by Raina Telgemeier. Looks like some of you know it. This one is a graphic novel. The whole book is this. Okay. Hanging out with your friends, you laugh, you joke, you go shopping, you have sleepovers, and you always have fun. One day, you and your friends are chasing each other, and you trip. When you trip, you hit the cement. You hit the cement so hard, you knock out your 2 front teeth. That is exactly what happens to Raina, who's the main character in Smile. After an emergency trip to Dr. Colden's office, he glues your teeth back in. He covers them up with gauze. A few days later, when you go back and take the gauze off, you realize he has inserted your teeth too far. Now you look like a vampire. The boys are definitely going to notice you, but not in a good way. Luckily, Raina's dentist can fix the problem. However, it's going to take years. So many trips to the dentist. You get retainers, you get fake teeth, braces, headgear. Suddenly, you are the dentist's star patient. And you see your dentist more than you see some of your friends. How is Raina going to survive this dental humiliation? And she still has to find time to do all the normal things that middle school girls do. She needs to do her homework, attend basketball games, go to dances, and even have a crush on Sean. Will Raina's teeth ever grow back? Will she ever look normal? Or is she doomed to a lifetime of dental surgery? And all because she tripped. To find out, you can read Smile by Raina Telgemir. Okay, this one is called The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. There was a hand in the darkness, and it held a knife. So begins the story of Nobody Owens. On the night that he's known as Bod. On the night that Bod's parents are brutally murdered, 2-year-old Bod calmly climbs out of his crib, he bumps down the stairs, he toddles out the door, and he walks into the nearby cemetery, where he is adopted by Mr. and Mrs. Owens. They're childless, and they've been dead for 250 years, but they agree to raise Bod and take care of him and protect him. With loving, ghostly parents and friends and teachers, Bod grows from age 2 to 15 in the graveyard. He learns to read and do his numbers, and he even learns some ghostly skills. But not all of the residents in the graveyard are friendly. There are ghosts. Well, the ghosts are okay. There are witches, there are ghouls, and there's even Jack, the fiend who's out to finish the business he started 15 years ago. How will Bod survive? Will he survive? Can his ghostly family and friends protect him from the evil Jack? To find out, read The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Okay, next one is called Where the Red Fern Grows. Yes. By Wilson Rawls. Wonderful. Billy is 11, and he yearns for a dog. But not just any dog. He wants a coon dog. And not just one dog, he wants 2 coon dogs for hunting. But his family doesn't have much money. They live out in the Appalachian backwoods, and Billy's mom really wants to move into town, but they don't have enough money to even move into town. So they certainly can't help Billy and can't afford their dogs. Billy finds a magazine, a hunting magazine, at an abandoned fisherman's campsite, and he looks through it. And he finds an ad that says, registered red bone coon hound pups, $25 each. Now, more than ever, all Billy can see, hear, smell, think about is dogs. He must have these coon dogs. But he knows his parents can't help. So Billy decides he can do it himself. He gets to work. He picks blackberries and blueberries, he sells vegetables, he catches minnows to sell as bait to all the fishermen. He works hard. And finally, after 2 years of hard work, he's earned his $50. But now what? Are there even going to still be dogs for sale? What is he going to name his pups if he gets them? And is he really going to be able to train them to be the hunting dog that he wants? If you like dogs, or adventures, or just a good story, you can read Where the Red Fern Grows. Okay, and my last book today is called Downsiders by Neil Shusterman. Have you ever thought about what could be running around underground? Like in the sewers of a big city. How about a big city like New York? You've probably heard tales of big rats or urban legends about alligators that live in the sewers. But what if there really was a whole city underneath, down below the subways and down below the sewers? What if it was a city with an entirely different culture? A different way of talking, a different way of dressing, a different way of living? What would it be like? Well, Lindsay meets Talon when he breaks into her house looking for medicine for his sick sister. Well, breaking isn't really the right word. He He just climbed up out of a hole in her apartment, where she lives with her dad and her stepbrother. Talon isn't like any other boys that Lindsay has met, and she soon finds out why. Where did he come from? Where does he live? To find out the answers to those questions, get to read Downsiders by Neil Shusterman.